All right. Good morning and good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. My name is Jimmy Newson. I'll be your moderator and host. I'll be introducing our very special guest in just a few moments, but we're going to give people time to jump on, getting ready for it. See, we got quite a few people coming in. We have a lot of registrants for this topic. Good morning and good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are. So hold up, I hear myself. All right, so hopefully, all right, so that's going on. That's great. Yeah, we have a lot of people popping in. So it looks like we have a mosh pit of people from all over the world. I see Rochester, New York. I see Berlin, Belgium. I see British Columbia, aka Canada. Montreal, there we go. Some more Canada. So wow, we got a lot of people from a lot of places. Let us know, continue to let us know where you're from. Also, let us know that you can see us. Everything is looking good here. We're excited to get started, but we're going to give everybody a few minutes to jump on and we'll get started. We're going to be talking about digital trends for 2021. I'm sure everybody's a bit fed up with 2020 and ready to just jump on that spaceship and shoot fast into 2021. So excited to be here. Let us know in the chat, what you want to hear, what you're interested in knowing about. We are going to be focusing on digital channels today. So online, and I always say that if you're not online, especially now, you're pretty much invisible. So what we're going to talk about today is really going to help make sure that you're visible, make sure that you have an opportunity to be out there, especially when the competition is also doing some of these tactics and looking towards the future to grow their businesses as well. So we're excited today to talk about that. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we hope you get a lot of value out of this next 1 hour that we're going to spend together today. So as people jump on, a few more housekeeping things, just again, in the comment section, I think there may be on this platform, a question section. So ask your questions. If the question is relevant to Zaryn or Pinar, we'll try to get those questions to them immediately. If not, we're going to have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So let me just give you an idea. So my name is Jimmy Newson. I'm the profit producer. I am the founder of Jimmy Newson Consulting and Moving Forward Small Business. I'm also the senior advisor for the New York Marketing Association. So I like to spend a lot of times talking to small businesses about marketing, digital marketing, online, offline. It doesn't matter. It's all very important, and you should be doing a combination of all. You should be putting all your eggs in a single basket. While you're joining in, I'm going to talk about some fun facts for myself and also for our featured guests here. So a little fun fact about me, I like cooking. I like cooking a lot. It's the thing that I do to get away from everything. I like being extra nice because nice is cool. And I like to take long drives. And I like to go on vacation and do virtually nothing other than breathing. There's nothing worse than going on vacation and someone gives you an itinerary of stuff to do. Like, what's that all about? Okay. I'm going to
share your sentiment.
I don't want to do anything. So I'm going to share a little bit about Pinar. Now, Pinar's got some cool stuff going on in her life. She loves to bake. So we could maybe bake a cake, maybe online. We'll figure out how to make that happen. She likes to run charities. And you have a 6-year-old daughter who's ran she's 6 years old and she's run 6 marathons with you.
Yeah, well, actually, one was in a stroller, one was on my back, and one was on her scooter. So, the older she gets, the mobility changes. So maybe one day she'll actually run, but at the moment it's more like pushing.
I got you.
But yeah, it's a good event. It's always very exciting to have her with me.
Sure.
Doing these charity things.
Yeah, and let's talk about your name, Pinar. Now, there's something you wrote here that you've been mistaken for a male because of your name. And ended up living in a guy's dorm twice, once in Germany and the U.S. Because everybody thought you were a boy.
True story. I don't know. It's the R in the end. I think it's like if you have someone called Pina or Tina, everybody knows it's a female. But with the R in the end, I guess it's something linguistic. They get surprised when they see me. So, wrong box or something. So it happened a couple of times. So fun story good.
Well, they can see you are a girl, so we're very happy to know that you're a girl. And for Zaryn, I see you're half Dominican and half Indian. you used to be a professional break dancer before you became a digital marketer. And in our world, we call that a b-boy. Because I'm also a b-boy.
Okay.
So we're all connected to some degree. 6 degrees of separation or what have you.
Right.
You love to play volleyball on the beach. I'm sure that's nice. Now, you're in New York, right?
I'm based in New York. Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn.
Yeah, so we don't have much beach life here. We have some beach life, but
we have the Pier 6, Brooklyn Pier, but it's not too much action right now because it's snowing. So,
well, I haven't been outside because I'm in New York too.
yeah.
All right. So what I'm going to do now, I think we're about ready. We got enough people here on the show. So we're going to talk about, digital marketing trends for 2021, what we should be looking out for, focusing on these digital strategies. And so what I like to do is give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves when you do your presentations. Again, ask your questions in the chat. We're going to start with Pinar. So I'm going to turn it over to you. And at this time, let's find out what you're going to talk about in regards to digital trends. So excited to turn it over to you, Pinar.
Oh, thank you very much. So I'll just share my screen. Let me know if you see it, if everything goes well.
Yep, you are good to go.
Okay, wonderful. So I'll be taking over the first part today. I'll be talking a little bit about SEO and SEM, and the paid social part will be later covered by Zaryn. So I'm very excited to be here today and share a little bit of insights with you. So yeah, I'm Pinar. Besides being a girl, I'm also the founder of Pivix Digital, a search-focused digital marketing agency. We're based in Istanbul and Berlin. I'm already in this business for pretty long. It's been 15 years. I'm an ex-Googler. I was part of the landing crew heading up Google's Turkey office in 2006, and I'm also a judge for the US Search Awards. So let's kick it off. So 2020, what a year it was. So let me just share some learnings with you. But first, I wanted to share a couple of numbers. So actually, at the moment, the internet user numbers are 4.62 billion. That makes 60% of all the population that is online, and that looks like it will be 7.5 billion by 2030. And with the recent updates, it could be that we get to this number even faster. So let's see what happened when COVID hit us. There was a great study from the We Are Social team of Hootsuite. They said that the increase of online and digital activities has increased hugely, like they did, and they were asking the internet users what they are doing more at the moment. So you can see all the activities went up, as you imagine. People were spending more time on social media, using messenger services, streaming, watching videos, being in mobile apps, playing video games. So down goes the whole thing that we said, oh, we don't want to spend so much time on screen. We don't want to have our children using phones, but then suddenly everybody's online. So now it's not a problem anymore. We are all online. So let's see what happened to the shift in demand. Actually, there's been a huge change in seasonality. If you just look at Black Friday that happened, suddenly there's a trend that says we're not into Black Friday, we want to have this as a Green Friday. So people are talking about sustainability and not consuming so much and shopping. So there's been a big shift here. People are working more remotely at the moment, and we are commuting less. So that leaves more time for search and to read and socialize online. And then what I've also realized and read lately is that there's been a huge amount of older people being online, and now we can all reach wider audiences and people online. There's been a huge shift in travel. I think the travel industry is the one that has been suffering most, but now people are looking for domestic travel or staycations. And another thing that we have witnessed all together is that social media platforms are the big winners at the moment. People are watching videos and e-learning, researching products and services. I've read that the first time that people between 16 and 24 are using more social media platforms, researching products and services. So there's huge volumes of searches that have led to us to more opportunities in the search engine result pages. Let's take a look at Christmas shopping 2020, the search queries. there's an update every now and then from Google, and you can check that out. It's really, really interesting. I mean, who would have thought that bath bombs is a topic now? And bedding and Christmas decoration went up 32%. So people are more at home, and now they're investing more in home improvements. I think that is a big development here. I've seen even people selling Christmas trees online. So yeah, there is a big shift in demand here as well. So in summary, how was 2020 for us SEOs? You see, not so much can scare us, not the coronavirus, not the lockdown, but what happens in December. The core update was something that everybody was like, what is happening? And then there was big silence for a day. And then suddenly the reports were released, who were the big winners and who were the losers after the core update. Google first said they're not going to do this update, but then they rolled it out. So there's been some research done by Path Interactive. My friend Lily Ray, she put out a good research, and then there's a couple more. I've also seen one from SEMrush. So here are the winners for the moment. It looks like YouTube, of course, has gained visibility. eBay, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. So the social media platforms seem to be the big winners after this update. Let's look at the losing domains. That'd be Amazon, Pinterest, Booking.com, New York Times. They're suffering at the moment, but these things can change. So just keep reading and following what this update will bring to the big websites. So let's get ready for 2021, especially for people working in paid advertising, so PPCs. There's a wonderful report from InnoWell that is showing how much AI and machine learning is now in the life of people working in the paid industry. So lots of agencies have adapted to automation and AI solutions. So 2 years ago, it was 46%, and at the moment it's really 66% that are using automated bidding, machine learning solutions, or automated reports and stuff like this. It can save you tons of time. But on the other hand, of course, Google gets more and more of a black box, and then goodbye data. So it's difficult to really understand what's happening in the background. So what will happen, I think, in the future is that we will diversify our paid channels. So looking at other channels that we might have not tried before, because once Google is more into automation and you cannot really play around so much with the ad text, maybe you'll be forced to use responsive search ads, and then you only see good or bad, and then that won't be so helpful for you to optimize. So what do the good marketers do? They keep on testing, keep on trying, and then you'll be successful in the end, I think. So if you haven't started using it, I would say start using it and try it for yourself. So, and then another update is announced already for May 2021. So SEOs, get ready for the Core Web Vitals update. That will be more part of the page experience that Google is stressing for a longer time now. So we'll be talking about loading, interactivity, and visual stability. And so really start looking into this. If you haven't, you can look at your Search Console reports. The Core Web Vitals report is at Google Search Console, so take a look at that and start preparing for it. And also what I wanted to focus on is make sure that local is at the heart of your digital marketing strategy, because from global companies to small SMEs, local is going to be key moving forward into 2021. We've all seen that with Google My Business, how that product has evolved and changed, and that you can now give COVID-19 updates. There's even more live interaction of peak times when they say it's safer to go at this time, or you shouldn't go to that place at that time. So it's great information for you. Consumers are nowadays supporting smaller businesses more than ever, and local. There will be more and more local businesses that will be having an online presence. So that is something that we'll all see in 2021. And there'll be more of a focus, and the landscape may become more competitive. So really try to tackle the local part if you haven't done already, but that will become even more important in 2021. And the last thing I wanted to say is focus on the intent of your keywords and try to understand how they are interpreted across multiple channels. So you need to have a long-term strategy to be successful in 2021. And what we've all seen is that informational content is more important than ever, because there's many new online shoppers and people need more informational content than ever. It's not anymore about just selling a product. It's also about what is happening afterwards, or even before you are buying a product. You should take a look at it. So also,
So,
Yeah.
Pinar,
Sure.
I have a quick question from Heather. She was asking what is meant by visual stability.
Is on your mobile when you are on a website, and then you all might have come across that it kind of like jumping or bouncing, like things are moving. So that's what they're meaning with that. So the mobile experience should be that you as the user shouldn't be like waiting, or something is jumping, you want to click on something and then suddenly the page is moving. So that is what is meant with that. So a little, or like something
Right.
annoying comes up and the ad is loading or something. So that is what is meant with stability.
All right.
Stability.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have one more question. Someone asked about it because you dive deeper into the core vital. What are the core vital web vitals that you mentioned a little earlier? Is that something you can talk about?
Yeah, it's these three factors that I said. So loading time, and then the stability, and then also how the user can interact with the website. So it's more based on the UX part of it. So try to have a great experience for your users. So it's the content topic was always there, but now with this core update, more the functionality and the stability of the website will come into place. So it's more of a technical SEO part of things that you should take a look, especially for mobile.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thanks. Go ahead. Those two questions popped up.
Yeah, wonderful. So when you're optimizing, try to optimize for transactional versus informational search, and try to understand your user. That is going to be key in 2021. And also keep an eye on your competitor landscape, because if you use the words wrong, for example, you have a product that's sold in the UK, but you have US-based keywords in there, it won't maybe work for your transactions. So try to localize everything you can and work collaboratively with other channels to gain insights for your business. That should be a big picture strategy that we always focus on in our agency. Try to have the teams work together, like SEO teams, PPC teams, also paid social teams, should all be in one boat, and then you can exchange your knowledge about your insights that you gain from, for example, paid advertising that you then again can use for content marketing. So looking at all different assets will be important in the future. So let me summarize the 10 SEO PPC trends to watch for in 2021. So like I said, AI will play a larger role in SEO and PPC, and voice search will impact search queries. It's said that in 2 years, 55% of households will have smart speakers. So what do I mean with optimizing for voice search? It's not like if someone is looking for SEO trends 2021, they're typing that. But if you ask, hey, Google, what will be the SEO trends in 2021, then you'll have like a sentence. So, take a look at your search data as well, and then try to optimize thinking about that as well. So mobile friendliness, like I said, with the core updates anyways, you all know that it will impact search rankings, and the content that should fulfill the Google Eat principles that will rank higher. And diversification is key for winning PPC strategy. We'll hear a lot more about that in 10 to 15 minutes. So I recommend testing LinkedIn ads and Instagram as well. So you will be surprised, because at the moment I think there's a huge gain in these platforms, and I think that people are using more and more these forms of advertising too, but there's still a lot of room to grow. So I would highly recommend to test new platforms too. So don't just rely on Google. Featured snippets will become more prominent, we all know that. And predictive search, this is a very interesting topic. With Google Discover, you'll know that Google is now taking a lot of signals like your search history and your location and all this stuff and feed you with information. So this is not anymore about optimizing for keywords. So it's different to have Google predicting what you would like to read and see and when you are opening your Google app. And then again, video is huge, and an effective SEO strategy will need to include video, that's for sure, and to try to have an optimization strategy for all of your assets like video, image optimization, featured snippets. So the more you have for your brand as a marketing channel, the more effective it will be in the end for yourself. Image optimization is an interesting topic too, because Google has rolled out quite a lot of things on this as well. Like you can take a picture of a, for example, handbag that you like, and then it will match with a product that you can buy immediately. So there's going to be a lot of things happening on the image side of things. Last but not least, always look at your data and analytics. That should become your priority if you want to remain ahead in rankings and see the big picture of your digital marketing efforts. And finally, what I've seen, what I really liked here is that it's not about machines or robots or crawlers or updates. It's really about people and your users, and they just don't want you to just sell. It really is, they are looking for what are my brands that I am looking at doing in this period in COVID. Are they supporting people? Are they putting out eco-friendly products? How is that about sustainability? Are they offering value for money? Are they treating their staff fairly? And are they supporting social causes? So I think this is a great way to look at 2021. Kindness is key, I think. And now I want to hand over to my friend Zaryn. Thank you.
Great. So Zaryn's going to be taking over now, and I see we have a couple more questions. So as he's setting up, I'm going to throw a couple questions out. Maybe you're going to be answering them in your presentation, Zaryn, but if not, Pinar, if either one of you want to tackle it. Now, I have one that's specific to COVID. It says, during COVID, has the ad spending per time online gone up or down?
Which channel does he mean?
Let's
general question. Yeah. If you look at the financial reports, it's the first time that Google really showed that they had a dip. But then again, other platforms like, for example, LinkedIn, they had a growth, 16%, especially from their advertising products. So looking at each different channel, it can have variations. There was a time when a lot of advertising went down, like when the outbreak was in April, May. We saw a dip in most of the channels. But then slowly, when people and brands were adapting, especially now in Q3 and Q4, we saw it picking up again. And then people, even spending more and more because they have seen the importance of online. And so you would see the spend go up again. Right. But yeah, there were dips in the beginning, of course, because everybody was like, "Oh, what is going to happen now?" So we also had that in our agency. We had a couple of clients that were pausing, and they, didn't want to spend anything for the advertising for the time being. So we saw some dips temporarily.
Sure. So less competition, price goes down. More competition, price goes up.
Yeah.
Okay, and one more, and then I'm going to turn over to Zaryn. I think you can answer this. Dave asked, do you recommend local strategies even for businesses that work across the USA? So I guess they're more of a national business, possibly even international.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that is what's been stressed everywhere. So if they have various maybe shops or various businesses, people will still look. There will still be these local signals. I can't think of an example now. Maybe you from the US you could come up with a better one.
Sure.
That has that, but I mean, for sure you have to look at local, because you'll see a lot more maps and local results coming. If you haven't optimized for that, you might lose in the long run, even if it's a national business. So think about the local community.
Yeah, perfect. Fantastic. Okay. So without further ado, let's give Zaryn some time, and we look forward to hearing what you have to talk about today, Zaryn. Your mic is muted. There we go. We can hear you now, buddy.
Perfect. Let me know if you can see my slide on the screen.
We're all good.
Awesome. So my name is Zaryn Sidhu, and I am a digital marketing strategist with a very strong focus on paid social. I've been now in the paid social space now close to 10 years, since before Facebook could do all of the cool stuff that it can do now. I am based here in New York City, and during the day I work at a large ad agency, but I also run a YouTube channel called Market and Hustle, and I publish weekly videos that talk about digital marketing. But what I can promise you in today's presentation is that you're going to get the latest information here with SEM Rush. So without further ado, we could jump right into it. Now, I want to start today by acknowledging the attention economy that we live in. And the gatekeeper of this attention economy is the mobile device. Now, regardless if you're using an Apple iPhone or Google Android, the odds are you're using your device to connect, whether it's family, friends, business, or entertainment. And one thing right now, at least in the US market, where I'm based, is that we're seeing that the time spent on a mobile device is about 3 hours and 10 minutes a day. And this is a very, very important stat to know. Not just as a business or an advertiser, but just in general, because you need to know where your audience is spending their time to help you focus on the right marketing channels. And I think this is something that Jimmy alluded to at the top of the conversation, that we wanted to focus our conversation today on digital, because there's a lot of people that are spending a lot of time, on these platforms. Now, I'm sure if you're on this webinar, you don't need to be convinced at the opportunity when it comes to social media advertising. We know that this is a very powerful vehicle to help a business drive growth. So what I want to share with you today is some tactics that I think are going to be very important within paid social advertising, some things that we've seen continuously do well. And also I want to introduce to you guys some opportunities that are emerging with all the changes in how consumers are changing their use of media right now. But before we jump into those tactics, I want to show you guys some of the implications that COVID has had on the growth of social media. And I also think that Pinar alluded to this, is that social media is one of the big winners within this change of how users are consuming media. So before we get into the tactics, let's jump into what that looks like. Now, before COVID, the latest eMarketer forecast projected that the average US adult was spending about 76 minutes of their day on social media. And they actually projected that this was going to be a flat growth year over year. So 2019, 76 minutes, 2020, 76 minutes. Obviously, things have changed with COVID, and that projection has since been updated to reflect an 8% growth to about 82 minutes a day in 2020. Now, that's about 1 hour and 20 minutes of the day that's being spent on social media. And another way to think about that is that's about 44% of the average US adult's consumer of a mobile device. They're spending 44% of that time on social media. That's a huge amount of time. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so where's this growth coming from? And is there a particular social platform that needs to be more focused on for your business? So that's what I actually want to unpack on the next slide, is to see who specifically is winning from this behavior caused by COVID. Now, pre and post COVID, what I could tell you is that Facebook and Instagram, they just continue to dominate, simply because of the volume of users that they have and the time that it's being spent on these platforms. Facebook alone is registering the lion's share with 1.9 billion users globally, and that's excluding Instagram. Now, if you add Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp, which is their family of apps, that's a collective approximately 2.7 billion, and they added another 100 million since the start of this pandemic. Now, to go a little bit more from the sense of how much time people are spending, because that's where we're seeing the change. On average, a user on Facebook is spending about 22 minutes a day on the platform, while Instagram is seeing about 30 minutes a day on the platform. And that's something important to keep in mind, because the more time someone's spending on a platform, that means it makes it cheaper for you to reach them from an advertising perspective. Now, one notable winner of this COVID reality has been TikTok, who has now added about 200 million monthly active users just in 2020. And they're on trend to reach Instagram's 1 billion, which another thing I would point out about them is the time people are spending on TikTok is significantly greater than the other platforms at a whopping 85 minutes per day. So the platform has been getting a lot of attention, and their growth is primarily due to, the feed that's very addictive. That's powered by a content graph, not a social graph. And a quick background on that is most platforms figure out who you're following, what your friends and family care about, and that's how they kind of personalize your feed. TikTok is completely different. TikTok sees what kind of content you're giving most engagement with, and then they just bombard you with a nonstop marathon of that type of content, and you don't even have to create an account. So the friction is absolutely reduced for a new user to get on the platform. And then because it's so addicting, people are spending so much time. So it's a huge platform that, as a paid social advertiser, I would actually absolutely think about testing in 2021. But the reality is that as of now, no other platform outside of Facebook and Instagram has reached the scale of the users, the penetration of daily attention, and also the sophistication of the advertising capabilities they have. So that's kind of what I want to focus on in terms of the tactical slides that I want to share with you guys. And on the next slide, I just want to go a little bit deeper on these changes that are being accelerated because of the pandemic. So in 2020, just to put this in terms of business outcomes, because at the end of the day, that's what marketing is for. We're focusing on how we can impact our businesses. In 2020, the global retail markets saw a 10% increase in e-com sales in a matter of weeks. Now, before COVID, e-com sales represented about 16% of total global retail sales. And that figure has since jumped to 27% globally and 32.4% in the US market. And it seems like the behavior is actually here to stay, with Cyber Monday, the online shopping holiday, driving a 15% year-over-year increase in online sales. It ended up reaching 10.8 billion in sales in one single day, making it the biggest day for e-commerce ever recorded. And this is all coming from data from Adobe Analytics. My prediction is Facebook, with its massive, talent, technology, and the cash resources, they are the best positioned as a social media platform for advertisers to actually, capitalize on all these changes. They've been adding new features to the platform to get greater returns for advertisers, whether you're actively running campaigns or you're planning to. So what I would say is, for 2021, you can expect a deeper focus from this platform on shoppable commerce, which that's basically shortening the friction from somebody seeing a piece of content that inspires them to buy to being able to add that product to cart. And an example of this that is Facebook Shops and Instagram Shops that was created to, evolve this online shopping experience and bring social platforms a little bit closer to that Amazon frictionless experience. Also, a notable product update was the rollout of Instagram Reels, which is a competitor to TikTok, and it could be found as a product update within Instagram. So net, Facebook now has over 2.7 billion users that are more engaged than ever, that are spending more time on the platform than ever. So with that said, now let's actually talk about the e-com conversion tactics that should be a staple in your playbook for 2021. So moving into 2021, your first party data is going to continue to be more important than ever, regardless if you're new to social advertising or if you've ran plenty of campaigns in previous years. Now, what I would say is if you are a new advertiser to the platform, your strongest performance is usually going to come for your e-com efforts from lookalike audiences of your existing customer list. Now, if you're not familiar with this tactic just simply allows Facebook to find similar users on the platform that match your existing customer base. Now, Facebook has actually made a lot of updates to this product, and they've expanded the capabilities. So now you can even create a lookalike audience to target lifetime value users. So when you're actually uploading your CRM list to the platform, you can actually add an extra column and you can put the LTV of each user, whether it was $200, $1,000, whatever it is. And now what's gonna happen is the platform can use this information when they're optimizing their algorithm to show your ads, so it can focus and bid more aggressively on the people that have a higher lifetime value for your business. Additionally, you can now check a box within the platform. Yeah, it's as simple as actually checking a box. That's going to allow you to go beyond your lookalike audiences, and Facebook will actually target users outside of that audience segment that it believes is going to convert at a similar or a lower cost. So a lot of power in this capability, and it's going to continue to be effective in the new year. And again, the power that this gives your business as an advertiser is that you have a place where you can scale with performance, but you could also move quickly because you can cut down on the exhaustive testing and learning agendas that you might need to reach a similar level of performance. Now, one pro tip that I will actually give you, if you're a new advertiser and let's say you don't have an exhaustive list of customers in your CRM database, an option that you have, if you already have traffic coming to your website, you can actually create a custom audience of people who have been to your website, and they're the top 25% of users who spent the most amount of time on your website. Now, once you create this audience within Facebook, you can then actually scale it up using the lookalike capability so that now you can actually have a high-performing segment. And oftentimes you're going to see that this is it because it's based on your existing first-party data will outperform generic interest and behavior targeting, because a lot of that is a guessing game. You're making some guess, you're running a campaign, and then you're looking at the performance. If you want to cut that time down and you don't have that robust CRM list with the top 25% custom audience and then scaling it with the lookalike capability, that's a great way to get it in market quick and start seeing that return for your business. Now, shifting gears a little bit, but still under this theme of first-party data, another key is going to be moving into 2021 is understanding the impact that the removal of cookies from Chrome is going to have on the performance of your campaigns. Now, this is not going to change till 2022, but something you want to start thinking about right now, because the Facebook Pixel depends on cookie tracking technology. And that's been fading away, obviously, with this evolving conversation of privacy. But now, with Google Chrome's browser slated to remove, all cookies by 2022, you have to start thinking about alternative options here, as most advertisers see anywhere between 60 to 80% of their sales come from their retargeting campaigns. But if you don't have cookies, there's not going to be any more retargeting tactics. There's not going to be any more tracking. So this is something that's very important that you want to start thinking about now. And Facebook has actually been developing a solution for this with their conversion API that can help advertisers keep all of their tracking once cookies are gone, and to continue benefiting from the performance of these retargeting campaigns that are very, very effective. Now, my prediction is that they're going to find ways to make this technology solution more applicable to the over 3 million small businesses that use the platform to advertise. Either way, this is going to be a hot topic for 2021, so I would definitely recommend you guys to keep monitoring. But I wanted to take a quick pause and just check in with Jimmy just to see if there are any questions so far. If not, I can continue.
Yeah. Yeah, we have quite a few, more than we might be able to answer. So let me just find a couple. I have one that says, our agency's Facebook and analytics are always significantly lower than other platforms. Should agencies be on Facebook? If not, what social platforms should creative agencies be leveraging? So if that's something you want to answer now,
can you actually repeat the question? I didn't get the whole thing.
Yeah, so it sounds like their analytics on Facebook is lower than it used to be, and they're wondering should they be on a different platform? I'm assuming that at this point as an agency they're looking for
Okay.
clients.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. It sounds like that would be more of a B2B play. And usually from a paid social perspective, anything B2B, I always think about how can I maximize LinkedIn first. One thing I would say is LinkedIn tends to be more expensive, anywhere between, I would say 10 to 20 times more expensive than Facebook advertising. But the thing about LinkedIn is that you have a completely different intention of an audience. Whereas, most people that use Facebook or Instagram, they're looking to use it more in a entertainment seeking mindset or discovery mindset. While LinkedIn, you have more of an intent-based audience. So even though it is more expensive, we tend to see that conversion rates tend to be a lot higher because we can actually go and target really granularly job titles, industries, company size. So when I'm thinking about B2B, I always think about, let me prospect with LinkedIn and let me use my other social channels to capture those audiences from a remarketing perspective, because usually from Facebook and the Instagram side, you just don't have all the levers to pull to get in front of the right people. So that's how I would be thinking about, Facebook and Instagram is more as a retargeting play to capture anybody that's been to your website. But I would always start with building the cleanest audience pool on your website. And my gut usually points me to LinkedIn first there.
Okay, cool. Now I have another question I'll dive into real quick, and this could be you or Pinar. It says, how do these platforms also relate to localization for your specific audience? In light of what Pinar shared, where is your audience actually hanging out? So I'm not really sure of the question, but you can get me to re-ask it again. How do these platforms relate to localization?
I mean, you have the ability to run localized media on these platforms.
Right.
I would just say it's more of a business use case. Like if you have physical stores or products that are sold in California that aren't sold in New York, I mean, you have absolutely the flexibility to build separate campaigns to target, these different segments. Usually, we recommend having, the less you break things out, the better they tend to perform. So it's just a business use case. If you had a physical store and you're supporting, in-market messages across multiple markets, that might be a use case where you want to have a localized approach, whether it's different messaging or it's different targeting. But if there's not a specific use case, most times just building campaigns and encapsulating everything in one campaign tends to give you, the strongest performance, especially for e-com.
Gotcha. I'm going to give you one more question, then I'm going to let you dive back in. Then we'll go back into the questions for the final few minutes. Is LinkedIn also solving for the cookie removal in Chrome, do you think, or are you aware of?
There hasn't been any updates yet. What I would say is the industry at large, we're all at the mercy of the latest information that, Google and Apple is releasing. So I don't think anybody has quite figured it out yet. I presume that over the next couple of months, we'll get more information. But again, since this is not happening for another year, you guys have some time. My whole thing is, you want to start thinking about this now so that you can figure out ways that you can test different measurement solutions. So when the changes do happen, you have a better expectation of how things are going to impact performance.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So I'll let you go ahead and dive back in, and then we'll collect some more questions.
Great. Okay. So we talked about first-party data and implications there. Now let's talk about some tactics that we're seeing, perform really well. I think overall there's a big theme of Facebook and Instagram and the other channels who typically follow in their footsteps, moving into, a more dynamic and automated fashion. A few years back, it was actually believed that you should make one campaign, for example, in Facebook and a separate one in Instagram. However, we know now more than ever that the strongest performing campaigns are the ones that are consolidated, kind of like how I was just mentioning, and having placement optimization, meaning you basically let Facebook determine where to show your ads. And what happens is that this ends up helping to drive stronger performance and reduce wastage from overlap when there's two campaigns potentially targeting the same user. So if I built a Facebook ads campaign and an Instagram ads campaign, Facebook now doesn't know that you're showing this ad to people on Instagram. So if it would have taken you, let's say, for example, 3 exposures to get the person to convert, Facebook doesn't know that. So they might show the user 3 ads on Facebook and now 3 ads on Instagram. While with placement optimization, which is a feature already available that has been available within the platform, you can just let the algorithm determine where it needs to show the ad to maximize your ad dollars. Now, another thing, under this theme of dynamic capabilities is CBO, which was released recently this year, or maybe it was at the end of August last year, and it's called campaign budget optimization. And this allows money to move dynamically from one audience to the next, and having that fluidity allows you to get better performance because you don't have to manually go into your campaigns and shuffle money around. If your prospecting audience is doing a lot better, the platform will move money in that direction. If your retargeting audience or your conquesting audience is doing better, the money will be fed in that direction. And this is now being permutated, whether it's on Facebook's feed, Instagram stories, Messenger, whatever the placement is with CBO and placement optimization, your money is being shuffled where it can actually get the strongest, ROI for whatever objective you're running. Now, Facebook has actually taken this a step further. And over the last year, we've seen a bigger penetration of dynamic ads. And this might actually be more particular for larger retail advertisers or advertisers that have a lot of products on their website. So you can now benefit from the power of dynamic ads that basically allows you to retarget users that have been on your website and have engaged, with your products. So it's showing them the products that they've looked at on your website, which of course is going to be more relevant if you just run a standard campaign and just put, any old product on there. This has been a very, very powerful tactic. I've seen it work very effectively last year, and this year I've just seen more advertisers adopt the tactic, and I expect it to be even more of a staple in everyone's playbook in 2021. And as more retailers, more people are actually using these tactics, this overall strengthens the tactic itself because Facebook as a platform has more data signals that they're able to leverage, for optimization. The next one that also falls under this theme of dynamic capabilities is DABA, also known as dynamic ads for broad audiences. This is kind of like the cousin of DPA, of dynamic product ads, because DPA is all about retargeting. DABA is all about prospecting. And the great thing here is that it can basically show ads to anybody that's not familiar with your brand, hasn't been to your website, but they're in market because they're actively browsing other websites, looking at similar products in similar categories at similar price ranges. And this is also a tactic that we've also seen retailers do very well, particularly for tentpole moments like Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Black Friday, where there's an increase, a spike in market activity for people to buy. And a way you can think this in your playbook is dynamic product ads. That should be on evergreen. That should be on every day. You should always be trying to remarket to people who have already engaged because they're giving you those signals. And then DABA is something you want to turn on those key holidays or key moments of the year that are relevant to your business, where more people might be more likely to be in market. Again, both tactics have done very, very well. And you should consider them as a staple to your, playbook moving into 2021.
I love the way you positioned both the DPA and the DAB. I love the strategies around those two. They make perfect sense. I had a question I wanted to kind of throw in real quick, 2 questions real quick. One is, since we're talking about Facebook and Instagram, one's about YouTube and one's about TikTok. What's the ROI of using TikTok? Are there industry benchmarks? Thinking about the younger audience, is it equating to lesser sales? Is there something you can touch on that in regards to TikTok?
Yeah, absolutely. So the information is a little bit limited as they've been rolling out a lot of their paid targeting capabilities. What I can tell you is that they haven't shared any benchmarks. I haven't been able to get any benchmarks from my TikTok contacts, but they're working on it. What I would say is the way I see them now is more of an upper funnel play. They have a massive audience, and they don't have the saturation of advertising as other platforms. So that means from a CPM perspective, from an impression perspective, you're probably going to get some good efficiency. I always like to say, as a marketer, you want to plan your budgets, whether they're quarterly or annual, with a 70-20-10 approach. 70% of your money should go to the things that are tried and true, that work for your business, that bring you an ROI, and that gives you predictability, for your business. But 20% you should pull out, and that should be your testing dollars. That should be, all right, let's see if we can actually outperform our app install campaigns on TikTok versus Instagram and Facebook. 10% of your budget is opportunistic. If you see something working really well one month or certain week, you have a little bit of an extra buffer to move dollars around. So from that perspective, I would say, even though they haven't shared conversion benchmarks and they're a little newer and greener in that space, I would consider, running a campaign just to see how they perform, more an upper funnel or mid funnel, so a reach campaign or a traffic driving campaign, and see how that compares against your established benchmarks to then determine if this actually makes sense for you. Now, from an age perspective, yes, it is believed that they are more of a younger platform, but their fastest growing segments are actually 35 plus. So there's a mass adoption from this older audience that's joining onto the platform. So whenever looking at them as a potential partner, you want to think about that audience size, and also, is it the right audience? And also, can you produce, engaging, ad content for that platform? Look at your own creative resources. If you can take content that you're making on Instagram and you feel it can fit and work well, and it's not a huge strain on your resources, it might be more attractive. But one of the things we're learning is from TikTok is that they're really asking people, advertisers, to try to make your ads TikTok friendly. So what I'm going to probably think is that in most cases, you're not going to be able to roll over ads that you made for Facebook and Instagram or another platform onto TikTok. You're probably going to want to make things a little bit more personalized. So something to keep in mind as well.
Gotcha.
I think that answers TikTok. Yeah. The YouTube side of things, YouTube traditionally isn't seen as a lower funnel platform. So from a conversion and a revenue perspective, usually we don't position the platform from that light. We tend to think about them more as an upper funnel play where we can get mass reach because there's almost 2 billion people actively on the platform. And the other answer is I don't have any benchmarks on conversions for that platform.
Gotcha. Okay. One last question. You can jump back in. It says, Dagmar asked, I haven't seen CBO on other platforms like LinkedIn. Do you have a recommendation for that platform? Because we're a B2B company.
Yeah. So Facebook and Instagram, they're kind of like the granddaddy of paid social advertising. They were there first. They have the most resources. So things usually end up working this way. Facebook rolls out some product, advertisers adopt it globally, they see great results. And down the pipeline, we see Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all of the other platforms then adopt this feature as well. So I'm sure at some point you will start to see that. What I can tell you is Pinterest, up to recently, didn't even have that capability. They actually just rolled it out. Sorry, not that capability. Auto bidding. For the longest time on Pinterest, you had to actually, go in the platform and actually manually change your bids. I work at an agency during the day, so the reps actually tell us, hey, this is how much you should be bidding. And it's very painful because it's very manual. So unfortunately, LinkedIn doesn't have that capability as of now. And in fact, when you build campaigns in LinkedIn, you don't even have multiple audience within one single campaign. You actually have to separate out campaigns. Wow. So they don't have the capability as now. Doesn't mean they're not testing it. So I'm sure at some point in the near future, we'll see that from them. One thing to understand is LinkedIn makes just a very small fraction of their money from advertising, while Facebook and Instagram, that's their revenue. That's how they're paying the bills. So there's definitely a different level of incentive for LinkedIn and Facebook to, evolve their ad product.
Gotcha. I'm going to let you jump back in because we're getting short on time. That way we can have some closing remarks from both you and Pinar.
Awesome. I have 2 slides and I'm just going to fly right through them.
Okay.
So the last theme I want to focus in, and this is also, maybe not as applicable to SMB or B2B, but something that's more applicable to larger omni-channel retailers, but that maybe down the line can impact some of your playbook in 2020. And this is BOPIS. That's the first thing I want to call out. There's a lot of retail shoppers that we've been seeing that they've been increasing their habits in terms of buying things online and then going physically into the store to picking them up. So much that Facebook actually created a new optimization within their platform to differentiate if somebody is actually buying online and picking up in store, or if they're actually, buying online and getting a delivery. So you can actually test this out. If you already have a Facebook pixel on your website, you just have to add a new parameter called delivery_category. For more on that, I would just make sure to check Facebook's developer documentation, which is available online. Now, the next noteworthy thing is something that I've seen work very well across multiple clients is combining the store traffic objective with offline sales, so that you can make sure you can see the impact that your ads are having on your point of sale conversions offline that you might not have that visibility. In 2020, before COVID, I saw as much as 64% of sales for a national US retailer that was coming from offline purchases. And we had no visibility of that until we imported that data. And then we started to see the impact of those store traffic to optimize campaigns. So as the world starts to open back up, that's something to keep in mind if you have a physical store. Also, DPA, which we talked a little bit more about earlier as a tactic for e-com activity, actually has a halo effect on offline sales. We've been seeing historically that's actually a tactic that can get people to shop online, but also to shop in store, which makes sense because you're retargeting users that already looked at something. So as, again, the world starts to open back up, if you're an omni-channel retailer, this is one tactic that you probably want to invest a little bit more heavier on in 2021, as it can have a halo effect for your business. Now, just to recap everything, with over 3 million advertisers and a reach of 2.7 billion users that are spending more time online, Facebook is just getting stronger, more effective for advertisers. So, really think about leaning into your first party data and your lookalike audiences, enabling your campaigns to have fluidity and, setting them up to let Facebook kind of do its thing. And then, of course, not just focusing on online shopping if you have a physical presence as well, but thinking about tactics that can also benefit your offline activity as people start to return to shopping in stores in this new year. My name is Zaryn again, and it's been my pleasure. And at this time, I will actually hand back the baton to Jimmy to address any other questions.
Man, well, we unfortunately, we only have 2 minutes left. Well, it looks like I might be able to get one question in. So let me ask this one question. It says from a Sim, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Do you think the best time to launch an online product, I guess, is it now, or should I wait to after COVID? She's in the personal care and beauty industry. Does anybody want to answer that?
My 2 cents are that this is the time. There's more people online more than ever, and more time is being spent online. So you can benefit from cheaper cost to advertise from a paid social lens. But I don't know if Pinar has a different perspective.
No, I wouldn't wait. Why should you wait? In terms of paid, maybe you don't have to, spend all the budget that you have allocated for the coming year, but you can start small and also do some optimization with your website, and then do some content marketing stuff that is for free as well. So you don't really have to always look for paid channels. You can also think about how you can put your product out. So why wait? I would start right away.
Well, I agree with both of you wholeheartedly. We want to respect everyone's time, so we have about a minute left before the top of the hour. So let's start. Pinar, how can people connect with you? How can they find you?
I think the best way would be over LinkedIn. That's professionally the one channel that I'm using most, but I'm also on Twitter. Facebook, but Facebook I use more for private. So Twitter, Kubik's Pinky, or LinkedIn, Pinar Ünsal. You can connect with me.
Great. And Zaryn?
You guys can find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on it. Also, you can check out youtube.com/market hustle. And I'm usually putting out videos, talking about a lot of these topics every other week.
Great. Well, again, we want to thank everyone for joining. We're sorry we weren't able to get to the questions. We have tons of questions we weren't able to reach, but this is being recorded. If you're watching this on the SEM Rush YouTube channel, subscribe so you can get access to this, and you can get access to other presentations as well. I believe they are sending out the slide deck, so everyone gets get access to that as well. Again, Zaryn, Pinar, I want to thank you both. For sharing your insight. 2020 has been rough on everyone, and we're hoping 21 will open up and give us a lot of opportunities. The key here is to act now, from what I'm hearing from both of you, because it's not going to happen in 2021 if you don't start preparing now.
Exactly.
Right.
So any closing remarks from either one of you before we close out?
No, looking forward to a better year to 2021.
I just want to say it's going to be a great year for digital marketers.
It is. All right. Well, again, thank you very much. Thank you all for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you at another SEM Rush presentation. Have a great day. Have a great evening, depending on what time it is. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.